Look at that.
Yes, look at that. Look, proper journalist today, aren't we? Look at this, look. I'm George Groves. I'm the former WBA Super Middleweight World Champion. This is Declan Taylor, co-host of the George Groves Boxing Club. You are watching the George Groves Boxing Club. He's got other jobs. This job don't pay. But today we are... Where are we, Dave?
Mate, this is amazing. We're at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think it's what it's called officially. Not White Hart Lane. It's the new one, as you can see.
Has it not got a name yet, no?
I think it's just called the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is disappointing, if you ask me. Give it a name.
What would you name it?
White Hart Lane, probably. I reckon Tottenham fans probably call it White Hart Lane, but it's beautiful. I tell you, I've been to a lot of stadiums. I used to cover football and obviously been to stadiums for boxing. I think this is the best stadium I've ever been to.
Bigger and better than Swindon?
Well, not apart from that, obviously, but so I don't think
What's
Swindon's got Wi-Fi.
What's Swindon's called?
County Ground.
The County Ground?
The County Ground, yeah. Shout out to the County Ground. It's a bit smaller than this. But that, you see behind us, behind me, that is one stand. Look how big that is. That's quality. That's like a proper cop end.
People know.
And this would be...
We don't need to explain.
That's where people sit.
What a stadium looks like when
That's where people sit. No, but this is obviously the middle of that pitch was where Anthony Joshua relinquished his world titles, not voluntarily, against Alexander Usyk that time in their first fight.
That's good knowledge from you.
What else has been here?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who did they box?
Last summer.
They lost their world heavyweight title to the Killers.
Yeah. Do you know a
points.
popular saying, Deck, in boxing? You can't box eggs, right?
You can. Yeah. Turns out you bloody well can.
We're 2 days on from Egggate.
Egggate.
What has been your favourite egg-based pun since?
There's been a lot of them. There was one that was like, he shouldn't have let him do it or something. I'm totally butchered it, but it was, you know when it's so bad it's good?
Yeah.
But there's been, they were going good for you in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah. I wasn't getting the... But... No, I sat straight away. No, straight away I had eggs Benedict, but
Benedict. That's
yeah,
what
but
it said on the back of the Sun.
I didn't know how to get there in the end.
It was eggs Benedict they put on the back of the Sun.
See, yeah, that's very Sun-esque, isn't it? You would have wrote
Sunny
that.
side up. I missed it. I wasn't there. Sadly, neither of us were there. It was the one in Manchester, which obviously set the tone for that. We knew this event was going to be spiky and sort of volatile and whatnot. But Eubank just turned up with his Louis Vuitton with eggs in it. It was fucking masterstroke, really. Yeah. Conor Benn was fuming afterwards. Seen interviews since, and he's very like, oh, I rate it. He's chill. He's taken that side now. How would you have dealt with that? Say Carl Froch had egged you.
Egg on your face.
Egg on your face. What would you have done? You would have lost the plot, I reckon.
Well, I would have gone.
Imagine De Gea would egged you in your first face-off.
See, the thing, the mastermind, the masterstroke of it all, Deck, is it lands on so many levels.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, it's to pay tribute to Conor Benn's failed drugs test, which I think eggs were the culprit. I haven't kept up with that.
That's what the WBC had said at the start.
Right.
Clomiphene, there was an increase in that due to egg consumption, or that was somebody's defence. I don't think Conor Benn ever used that as a defence, by the way.
Right.
But that was the whole thing.
So that's been exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's gone out of control.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember Domino's did the post, and it was the Conor Benn, and it was like a pizza with eggs on it. Like,
yeah.
Remember that? Anyway, that was why the egg came out. But one thing I was...
No, he egged him, right? He egged him. Because it's childish, isn't it? It's what you do as a kid. You egg... You egg a car, you egg a house, you egg a person.
Or being egged.
And he's been egged. So it relates to all of our inner child. It's like, we all want to giggle when someone gets egged, right? So you can feel for Conor Benn. I'm gonna try and get hold of both the guys today. I don't really think I've got a chance, but who I might get is dear old friend of the show, Dan Lawrence. Let's try and get Dan Lawrence.
Yeah, because he's back.
He's back. He's back in the Conor camp.
Yeah, because he'd gone to Dubai, and obviously Dan, as we know, is a businessman. He's got all sorts of endeavours in the fitness industry. Was out of the Conor Benn camp. In fact, out of boxing. He'd left the country. He was no longer part of that, but he's been brought back for the big one.
Yes.
So I reckon if anyone can get him, it's this podcast. It's you. Fucking better. You used to pay him, didn't you?
Yeah, no.
Was that a little twist there to show everyone that?
I saw that.
Why haven't I got branding?
Do you know what?
So I thought I have to win a world title.
Yeah, I thought. Look, GGBC.
Yeah, I
thought I'd ordered more than one, but I hadn't. One came, and then I was like, I waited like 7 days for that, so you just got the plain one.
How did you do the design?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we look like proper journalists.
I want to get jumpers made up next.
Yeah.
Just go real slick and subtle with the logo. Forget about the fucking logo.
So Dan Lawrence is on the hit list.
Dan Lawrence on the list.
All the people are here, but I got a feeling today might be... I think there'll be less access than there was on Tuesday because of what happened. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. I haven't seen any cages, like the Hey Chisora, but they have to be...
It's not really a Frank Warren
show. They have to be taking these two... They can't be putting them together. I'm pretty sure they won't do a face-off. Surely not. I mean, who knows? But
They might
this is a visual one.
They might have to, empty their pockets before they get there.
And there's
be a
Eubank's
nice
got
one.
a lot of pockets.
He's got lots
Yeah.
and lots
One
and
thing
lots of
that's
pockets.
disappointed me, if I could say, just a stunt, if it was me, I would have egged the other side of his face, where the cameras were. Not saying I want to egg anyone, but if I was... So face me. So there's the camera, and we're like, yeah, fucking cunt. Bang, egg. How much better would it have been if I'd egged him there, bang, and then splat? Just for future reference, anyone who's planning on egging someone else, do it camera side, yeah.
Yeah, but do you not think Eubank's force of that? He's got his one mate on the other side. He's the only one with the camera.
He got the good shot, yeah.
And he got the perfect shot, so that's...
But
But also, let's give him some credit. There's a lot... It's a high-pressure situation.
Yeah.
Eggs are delicate. Do you know what I mean? Imagine
he had multiple eggs. Do you notice that?
If one had broken in the pocket, he's like, can you imagine he gets one out and he goes,
oh, he's covered
not
in,
that one.
covered in white.
And he has to go for
But
another one.
in the picture, I think he had 3, so he's thought, I can't have one. And I sit in the press and he goes, and breaks. Then he's fucked the whole stunt. Not only is the stunt done, but his LV jacket is ruined. So he's like, I better put multiple eggs in there.
Yeah.
And then, anyway, what it's
I mean, leather's like egg tight, isn't it? It's watertight, egg tight. So... maybe there was a couple of cracked ones in there.
Yeah.
We don't know about it. I want to see a picture of the inside.
He's egged himself. So the joke's on it. The yoke's on him. But what we could say about this fight, George, is that it's always been a fight. For me, it's a middleweight fight with a welterweight and a middleweight.
Yep.
In it, and not only a middleweight, but someone who boxed you at super middleweight. So he's not even. He's a good sized middleweight against someone coming up. Dan Lawrence, of course, it will be one of the men tasked with trying to get Conor Benn basically strong enough, I would say, to compete at this weight, compete with a big man. And the thing with Chris Eubank Jr., as you found out, unbelievable chin.
He's tough.
Just like the old man.
Very tough. Very, very tough.
Yeah.
He can take a lick, since me has been stopped. Had that blemish against Liam Smith. So he's not indestructible.
No.
And maybe his chin is better at super middleweight than it is at middleweight. And obviously this fight is at middleweight. But
so you think that may affect his punch resistance?
Well, yeah, it does. It does. When you get a bit tighter the weight, and as you get older, that's when all of a sudden they go, your punch resistance has gone overnight. I think, who knows exactly what it is, but I think as you get older and you get a little bit tighter with the weight, that definitely don't help.
No.
So, when this fight was first made all them years ago, I was like, it's a mismatch. I can't see how Eubank can possibly get beat. When this fight got just mooted about the other day, I thought, I think Conor Benn might do him, Dick. I thought times have changed.
You've moved on.
But wait,
yeah.
Now he's here, and now I'm in the stadium, and since Eggate, and since we know the build-up, and it's going to be so much more at stake than just the physicality of a fight. It's going to be so much emotion involved, so much games and tricks, and you're going to have to be focused, you have to be switched on, you have to hold your temperament, hold your cool. I don't know who's going to win. Which is a good fight.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Okay.
Stick him in the middle of that thing. And also, what a venue. This is going to be rocking. Don't know who that suits. What do you reckon? Who do you think handles a big occasion like this best? Because Eubank's had some big uns.
Yeah.
Conor Benn is kind of... We forget with Conor Benn, this was his big fight, wasn't it?
He's
in
never
October
had a fight
of 2022.
like this,
No, and then he didn't have it. And then he went away for ages, and he had a couple of lower key ones. America, he has never had a fight this big.
Nope.
Chris Eubank Jr. has. Not like this, but he's been world title fights in yours was in Manchester, wasn't it? Big old stadium, big old arena.
Big arena, world title fight, big fight, high pressure fight. Tough fight for him. Probably he's certainly more experienced, and at times he's got a couple of decent wins that maybe slightly flattering for him, Eubank, but he's got a win over James DeGale. He's got a win over Matty Korobov.
He knocked out Avni Yildirim in Germany, which was like the Lions den at the time, and he chinned him in like 2 rounds or something.
Yeah.
That was a big win. That was in the Super Series, wasn't it?
And he's had that,
He handles that occasion well.
He had the fight with Billy Joe Saunders where, at the time, he was more popular, Billy Joe Saunders, within the boxing circles, and lots of people were happy Eubank got beat, but that was a close fight. Yeah. And considering Eubank had barely any amateur experience, and Billy Joe Saunders was one of the best amateur fighters of that era, come out pro, flying on all cylinders, the hometown favourite, the Frank Warren boy, his temperament going into that fight, Eubank, would have been an experience, maybe more.
That was a
More
mad
than
atmosphere in there
Conor
as
Benn
well.
has ever experienced.
Yeah, he's never, and
himself.
that was 10 years ago, I think. That was maybe 2014. That fight, 11 years ago, he handled that. He lost, but you're right. It was a good. I mean, Billy Joe. I think it was, if I remember rightly, he started really well, and he sort of ran out of steam a bit. And Eubank came into the fight at the end, lost on points.
Yeah, but it was
wasn't a
literally
walkover.
a fight of two halves.
Yeah.
You know,
And Saunders has said if he lost that night, he would have retired if I can't beat Eubank. Because at the time, remember, Eubank at that point was still being called and labelled by people like Saunders a bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
A bit of a blagger.
Yeah.
No, the jury was out of it. Is he just the son of Chris Eubank Sr.? Obviously, the 11 years he's proven that he's much beyond a gimmick. But he came through that. He lost, but he won a lot of respect that night from everyone, including Saunders, I would think. Who's on the way back, by the way?
Is he?
See that? Did a story. You can read it on the Ring Magazine website. Billy Joe Saunders back in training in Thailand. Do you know who sent me a picture of this? Jack Walsh. Remember, shout out Jack Walsh. Remember from
Jack
Ireland
Walsh.
Who came all the way to the live show?
Yes.
He was training in a gym in Thailand. Senad Gashi was there, the heavyweight.
Yep.
And so was Billy Joe Saunders. And Saunders apparently been out there for a month. He's got another 6 weeks or so, and then he's coming back. So it's like the old days. I mean,
Just like it.
No sign of Chris Eubank Sr. yet. I don't know if he's going to get involved. I mean, if there's one thing, like we think we're at the sort of fever pitch of this fight, chucking Chris Eubank Sr., the whole thing's going to go even more mad.
Yeah. Should we get the dads to fight on the undercard?
Not on my watch. I mean, I'd probably make a few quid. Who would win?
They'd
would
both
win
be
these
up
days?
for it. Don't know. I've got to look in their eyes.
Yeah.
I've got to look in, but yeah. Apparently, Nigel's over, but Nigel's here.
Yeah, he was in Manchester.
Yeah.
Raging, apparently. Yeah, he was.
Was he,
Well, he was
yeah?
on the stage.
Oh, of course, yeah, we
You
saw
sort
him.
of See the egg, and
You
he's
saw
all
the
in.
experience from him. He
Yeah.
didn't lose his cool.
Oh,
He
not
sort
at
of
all. He was just like
slipped
shark
aside.
eyes.
Yep, I'll take that.
Straight on. It's like, where's my feed?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a big event. What I can definitely say is since Egggate,
Yep.
messages from non-boxing mates who are like, fuck it, sending me, look, what's this, egg that. And it's, whether you like it or not, it's the sort of moment that breaks this, no pun intended, out into the wider sporting public. All my normal mates, non-boxing mates, care about it. One bloke even messaged me, I won't name him because it's illegal, and was like, this incident is the difference between me streaming it and me paying for it. So you got one buy there from one egg. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Like people say about Joshua Fury being, it's not the fight it was, but you get them in a press conference together, they have a roll around for 5 seconds and it's the biggest thing ever again. So
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it. It hits on so many levels.
It really
It really does. Like it's so childish and yet so. It's violent, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not the same
it's
old
tongue-in-cheek.
crap. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to get egged.
and it's muggy. Yeah,
You can't even get that pissed off about being egged either. If you've been bottled, you're like, fuck me, that's really bad. It's like, hit you with an egg. Anyway, we don't know what's going to happen at this presser. We're doing it before it all kicks off. You're going to go and try and get what you can.
Let's go on the hunt.
Yeah.
See what we can get.
Definitely try and get Dan
I'm
Lawrence.
not. Yeah, but.
We've got
Do you
the
think
promoters.
shall I go? Just go in deep, or shall I walk on eggshells?
I think just go straight for the. No,
If I can get both fighters, that's a feather in my cap, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, chicken. Yeah, of course you can do that.
I'm not scared.
No.
Talking to the man who said he's not going to stream it, he's going to pay for it. Here
Is
he
that the
comes.
legal streamer?
Yeah. How you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well. So you get off there with your camera. You use your microphone with the branding on it.
Yep.
The rest of us, we'll just see what we can do. See if there's any eggs. Maybe someone's going to get some bacon out. Anything could happen.
Yep.
If you were Conor Benn, let's leave it last word. If you were Conor Benn tonight, how would you play it? Are you going to try and come back with something? Are you going to pretend it didn't happen?
Have you seen that episode of Tony Soprano's? Tony Soprano's got the sausages around his neck, and he's walking around and he's swinging them like this. If Conor Benn don't come in with a scarf of sausages,
he's got to do something on it.
and then he's missed the boat. I want to see him. I want to see a fry up deck.
Yeah.
Well,
we might get one.
Yeah.
So you go and do
so
your thing.
I'll do my thing, and then if you're around at the end,
We'll have a wrap up.
We'll have a wrap up.
Yeah. Nice one, mate.
Eddie, how you doing? You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
You rattled, yeah?
Nah, not really. But I think he's good, Eubank. I mean, I find him. I think you were one of the best rattlers in the world, like
Yeah.
in British boxing. I find him a little bit cringe. So, but he's good. Like when someone's interrupting you all the time, it's very difficult to like.
Yeah, that wouldn't have
move.
been my style, but I
No, you
appreciated
did.
what you did today.
Yeah, no, I think that after a while you kind of get hold of him, and like he waffles a lot, like, and he also says a lot of untruths. Like the contract for this fight is not with Matchroom,
Yep.
it's with Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. I've got no input into his contract at all. That's a standard clause that they put in every contract.
Yep.
So that was the first thing. He said it's not about the money, then went off and waffled on about some unbelievable deal he's got, and he's got so much money, and etc. etc. I just don't believe him. You know, like, you fought this guy many years ago.
Yep.
Do you believe that he has an appetite and a desire for the sport?
No, but surely he can't lose to Conor Benn. Like, that would
In
be...
what respect? Like, as in,
I-
personally?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He won't be able to live with himself
No,
if
but
he loses
who
to Conor
do you
Benn.
think would be more devastated in defeat? Like, who
But
would
it's
you say
equal.
wants it more?
Who wants it? Well, I mean, yeah, Conor Benn shows that passion, but he's just that passionate guy, whereas Eubank's a cold guy. But there's a lot at stake here for Eubank because he won't let you speak. So he doesn't just want to win this fight, or maybe he doesn't want to win his fight. He doesn't just want to get paid. He wants to keep you quiet, Eddie, as well, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
but that's never going to happen because I'm a 24/7 machine. You might do it for 5 minutes, but tomorrow I'm going to do 400 interviews, and then that's what I do. But I'm not bothered about being kept quiet. I'm bothered about winning because I'm
Yep.
looking at him and thinking, oh, I really want that. You know how emotional I am about my fighters winning big fights. You've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
I just want him to win. That's
Yeah,
all.
of course, yeah.
And I'd love him to chin Eubank.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you're emotionally invested in that
Definitely.
respect?
I'm emotionally invested in every fight, especially when it's our guy against someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, last week, I don't think I've ever been more emotionally invested than Callum Smith against Boatsi and Bivol against Beterbiev. Like, I completely lost my shit.
Yep.
Completely. And like, even like Ben Shalom was joking. He was like, you're very emotional, aren't you? I go, fucking right. Like, properly. Like, and the other day with like me and Ben like on the stage, if you, in my opinion, I mean, I was a bit wrong because I thought he'd hit him with something else other than an egg, the way it sounded and chattered. Like,
Did he not hit you, the egg?
no,
Was you not close
no,
enough?
No, I think
Did
they,
you get
I
any
think
on
they
the face?
planned. I think they planned for that as well. But like, that's a reaction because if you were out with your mate and that happened to your mate, what would you do? You like, you know, it was just Nigel Benn slipped round the side. And that was interesting, what happened up there.
Well, there was a bit of an altercation with you and Ben Shalom.
Yeah, because he just come on stage and went, well, what are you doing? I just went, fuck off you, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, but I can't apologise for my passion.
Right.
know
And
what I'm
that's what
saying?
it is right now, passion.
Passion, emotion, wanting to win so bad.
Do you think Conor needs, like, you to talk up for him?
No.
And do you think you guys won't have a conversation later and him go, Eddie, like, you defended me when really I should have done it myself?
No.
Nah?
No, I mean, I
Because
think...
he revels in having a team and he's very excited about
all
his
Conor's
team.
thinking right now is, I want to fight him now. So all he's got to do is put that energy into his training camp, which he does anyway, to be fair. He trains really, really hard. But definitely stay calm.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't really want Conor to fight Eubank tonight
No.
because he's you know how you got to be composed in the ring, and he wouldn't be composed right now.
Yep.
Fighting him. He wants to fight him now on the pitch. So you've got 8 weeks. And I'm
Do you
sure
think
fight-
do you think he'll
Fight
be
week
able
will
to
be-
cope with it? Fight week. As
Yeah.
this fight gets closer,
Yeah, I mean-
he'll be getting more and more rallied up, yeah?
Yeah, probably. I think fight week's quite important to keep a little bit calm.
What's
Like,
your plan for fight week?
Just keep.
You're gonna
Just
elevate
keep-
the talking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not allowed to talk, so I might just come with like a bit of tape over the mouth or
Yep.
something like that. I might maybe need a bit of advice from you.
What about not talking?
No, about how to play up.
How to
something,
play
do
Eubank. I
something
beat
a little
Eubank
bit.
once upon a time, but I
Yeah?
couldn't beat you.
Yeah, but he was never. No, you've done a good job, but with Eubank, you can't. You can't argue with an idiot. That's the thing. So there's no point if someone's going to keep talking. In the end, you just have to let them talk, and then chime in every now and again. That's what I ended up doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
every time I tried to talk, in the end you go, fuck this, let him talk, and then when he gets something wrong or he says something absurd, just chime in. But
Yep.
also, it's the show.
Yeah.
It is quite amusing to watch, and it was a great press conference. I mean,
So-
one was good. The first press conference obviously was different, but I was quite surprised that he went at Nigel like he did with what he said. Like,
Yeah,
and
I mean, obviously that
I don't mind it with me.
It's a way to get to Conor, isn't it? Plus, it's a
Do you
legit.
think that's what it is, though?
Well, Nigel put his hands around his throat, so
see, with
I
you-
would have done the same, but just to
No, but with
throw
you,
a little grenade out there and see.
I think Eubank, a lot of the time, don't know what he's doing. I think he's a little bit all over the place. Life's like, whereas you were very calculated. Yeah? I don't think he's calculated like you were.
Right.
I think you
But
actually...
he must have more experience.
No, it's not calculated, though. It's stuff to do that's going to cause a scene. You did stuff to try and get an edge. You weren't doing it necessarily to go viral.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were doing it because you thought, I don't like Froch, so I'm going to do this, and it's going to really wind it. There's a difference. Different worlds. You weren't from that world that Eubank's from. Eubank is Snapchat, Instagram, views, viral, etc.
So he's jealous of your fame, would you say?
Eubank?
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
That's what this is a battle of. He doesn't want you talking because he doesn't want you to have the limelight. And ultimately, the last two men on the pitch today having their picture taken was the two promoters. It was you and Ben Shalom.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be me as the fighter? What I didn't compute was I took on Cole Froch and I took on Eddie Hearn. I tried to take on everyone, but when you don't win, you're done.
But you won. You just didn't win the fight.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have won that fight, you conquered everything and everybody. Because you would have beaten Froch, you would have beaten me, you would have beaten the system, if that's what you were fighting against.
Yeah.
And that's when you fought at Manchester Arena, yeah?
Yeah.
That was, for me, one of your biggest weaknesses, I can say it now because you're retired and I don't have to fight you again, was your resistance to what you felt was the system. But the system was actually never against you. Like, when I started promoting you, we never had the relationship because we were not allowed to build the relationship because you had managers and you had advisors. But what you learn is when you're close to me, I'll never let you down. I'll have your back 1,000,000%. But not when we don't have a relationship. So, when you signed with us for a little bit, it was never really like the heart. It was like, I liked you, but I never knew you because I had to deal with somebody else. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when the first time we had a press conference, didn't really know you.
Yeah.
You just come along with Adam and
Yeah.
it is what it is. And you had part of it, what made you the fighter that produced that performance in Manchester was that, fuck it, I'm getting up on the train on my own. I remember when you came up to the first press conference, you came up with a couple of people. You weren't training, I think, with Adam. Like, you'd left that, and I was like, what, he's just fucking rocked up on his own. And you was like, me v the world. That famous picture of you in Manchester, ring, like this, with like Paddy and Froch with 10 people behind him. And that was me against the world, right?
Yeah.
You had a chip on your shoulder that was like, fuck everybody else. I don't like this guy. I'm fucking me. I'll do what I want to do. And that's admirable. And it nearly won you the first fight.
Yeah.
And then in the second fight, you basically went off and I don't think you did anything wrong in that build-up, but you always felt that the system was against you. I felt, knowing you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a sign at the press conferences as well. Like, when you went to the press conference and you stuck it on Froch, especially the first one, because he was like, what the fuck? Like, no big name wants to fight a young, unbeaten Brit. Like, no Brit big name. You know that, right? Because you've been there as well, right? When you get to that stage, you want to fight a big world name. You don't want to give a shot to some fucking young kid coming up.
Okay.
And he couldn't believe the front that you had by sticking it on him.
Yeah.
Now, that was a plan. That wasn't you being arrogant. That was just you going, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking go up there today, and I'm going to try and get under his skin. And it worked.
But Eubank today, has he come to try and get under everyone's skin? Does he want to get under your skin?
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. Like, getting under my skin's totally irrelevant. Like, if I get in the car and think, he's a fucking belly in that geezer, which is exactly what I will do, I'll go to Belfast tomorrow for the weigh-in. I'll do another show at the weekend. Oh, no, it's Canada tomorrow, and then it's Belfast. So I don't
But for the show, that's the advice to Eubank is don't get too hung up on Eddie Hearn.
No, Eubank it doesn't matter to Eubank. And that's why I was saying to him, like, I just feel this guy has been fighting for a long time without any real desire, just to make money. Play poker, go to Dubai, get a private jet, make money, go from there. Do you know what I mean? Now, it is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion, because of the size. I do think Eubank's shot, but his size makes it a very dangerous and tough fight for Conor Benn as well. But I just feel like I do agree with you. The rivalry and the history will give him a little bit more.
Well, it's going to give him a lot more, and
but
it might not be a
he's
physical
training.
battle. It
You know,
might
like
not
he's
be.
training. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you know, he don't train properly. He doesn't have a trainer, really.
Yep.
I mean, he'll hit pads with Jonathan Banks, but let's be honest. Like, they're not like sitting down and working on a game. Like, he'll go in and he'll hit pads and he'll get that geezer on the body bag and he'll spar terrible fighters well below the level that he's fighting at. He'll beat them up. He might go to Dubai a couple of times in training camp, and that's it. He'll rock up. He may still win. Do you know what I'm saying? But I just don't. I've never really felt that Eubank was, especially the last few years. I just think it's a money-making mission for him, which I don't hate, by the way. But I like it to be like fucking all or nothing. You know?
You're vastly experienced with these stadium fights now. Has Ben Shalom had a stadium fight yet?
Yeah, Bilham Smith in Bournemouth.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So a stadium show. Yeah, and he's had Crystal Palace actually. Yeah. You can take him under your wing a little bit.
I don't mind Ben. Like,
Yeah.
I just said to you, I'll say it in this interview because I said it in IFL. He's a bit strange, but in a nice way, not in a
What's strange about him?
He just says some weird things, like. But I like.
What? Can you think of anything?
Well, he asked me to go on his board the other night of Boxer.
On his board?
Yeah, on the board of Boxer. Like, and he was after, but I was just like, but I think that I think he's rubbed people up the wrong way.
Right.
But I don't think he's a bad geezer. I find him all right. I find him quite good to deal with. I find him quite amusing. But when I say he's out of his depth, I was out of my depth when I started. Like, I'm sitting in press conferences with David Hay against Audley Harrison. I was miles out of my depth. I didn't know what I was fucking doing. I've been around boxing for a long time, but I don't fucking know. Now I know everything. I know every move. I know every governing body. I know every stadium. I know every fighter. I know every venue. I know every manager, every lawyer. It's like you wake up and it's like just riding a bike.
Right.
But that takes time. But he's also, I see the resistance from the industry to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I had it for 15 years. Don't forget.
Do you think? Yeah.
Well, you fight. You just like you were fighting the system. That's what you do. You fight the system. Do you think people wanted me in there when I started?
You burst on the scene.
Yeah, but only because I fucking had plenty of balls and didn't really know what I was doing and thought, fuck it, like just let's go.
I mean,
But
there's a lot of
that-
similarities where you had the Sky platform and then he's had the Sky platform.
It's different. Look, I'm always going to back myself. I think I'm a different kind of animal, but you can't knock what he's done.
Yeah.
He got the Sky deal. It's up soon. Does he keep it? That'll be the big kicker. You know.
What's the hardest thing about being a promoter?
It's really the pressure you put on yourself. I'm probably like if you did a psychoanalysis on me,
Right.
I'm probably quite a strange individual, just a fucking weird.
You were saying this about Ben Shalom. Not that
No,
long
but
ago.
he's different weird. He's quirky weird.
Yeah.
I'm sick in the head weird in terms of
Right.
winning like non-stop. Like to a point where people will go to me, you need to fucking calm down and slow down. But the difference is that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Like I was always told winning by any fucking
Win at all
means,
costs.
whatever it takes. If you have to work 24 hours a day, every single day, fucking do it.
Have you ever not won, Eddie?
Not really.
What's it like winning?
No, of course you have
What's
not.
it?
No, but
You win.
No, but-
promoters live forever.
but-
you win forever.
but it's not like
if
you
Conor
don't-
Ben gets beat,
There's another show the other week, but it still hurts.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a journey.
yeah, but that's probably my weakness is my emotion of losing. So when one of our guys gets beat, it really fucking hurts, and I take it bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Bivol in the first fight, and I'm fucking screaming and shouting, and and everyone's going, all right, calm down. I'm going, fuck off, it's a fucking joke, fuck. Whereas other people might go, oh well, it's just a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't do that, but I would never apologise for my emotion
No, you shouldn't.
because I'd rather live a life of emotion than a life of Oh wells.
Yeah.
Oh wells.
As long as you
Like, look at last week, one of the greatest nights of my life.
Yeah?
Oh, Bivol, one of the best performances I've ever seen. I was so happy for him. You know, like, and a lot of people think, oh, you think it's about you. You're looking at Bivol, and you know what it meant to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Every belt in the sport, his ultimate dream for years and years and years. And all I could think about is, imagine when he goes back to the hotel room and fucking lays all the belts out and goes, I fucking done it.
At
I
that
like to
point,
see
at that point,
people-
do you want to be Bivol? Do you ever want to be
Yeah,
your
I would
fighters?
always want to be the sports star. Do you know, growing up,
So
all
when
you
when
wanted to be.
when Eubank's sitting there at the table and he doesn't want you to talk, do you think there's anything going through his head saying, "I'm the one who's got to go out and do it"? Like I'm the one who's got to get punched in the head. And
No, I just
but
think
you,
he thinks Eddie's a big name.
Yep.
So if I go at him, it's going to cause a big scene.
Yep.
It's going to be quite funny, and he probably doesn't like me either.
Right.
But like, it's about it going viral.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Eubank's taking on Eddie. Wow. Remember when David Hay done it for Tony Bellew?
Yep.
Carbon copy. Oh, what's he talking about? What? Apples and pears, what? Do you remember? And it was massive. Difference is, he phoned me an hour after the press conference. David. And he
Don't
went,
give the game
Eddie.
away,
He
Eddie.
went, that's all right. I've told it a million times. Eddie, all right, what do you think of that? I said, you having a fucking laugh? He went, how good was that? And I just thought, fuck me. It's just the game, innit?
Yeah.
Like, Eubank's a little bit
He
different.
could have said it would be as one-sided as.
Here he is.
Here he is. Chris, you got any eggs left, mate? See you soon. There we go. Ron, how you doing, mate? You all right? Yeah, you good?
Certainly,
Team
mate.
Eubank's here.
All right, mate. Good to see you, right? Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, all right, Ron. See you, Ron. Bye, mate. Right, all over and done. That was 2 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
There you go.
Keep
Fucking
don't stop
hell.
talking. Cheers,
All right,
Ed.
cheers, mate. Good
Top
evening.
man. Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
see you at the
later,
next
boys.
one.
See you all.
I'm with the main man. I'm with Dan Lawrence, my good old friend, my former strength and conditioning coach. Me and him took on a stadium once upon a time. We won't talk about that, though. Dan, thanks for joining us, mate. Thanks for coming on the pod. Obviously, you're back in with Conor Benn, Team Ben. How's he doing?
He's doing well. We're, as you say, at Tottenham Stadium. And do you know what, George? Coming here and looking at it, it is pretty special. For me personally, it's hit home again as how big this actually is, especially after the last press conference in Manchester. We'll see what happens today.
Yeah.
And yeah, just excited. Excited for camp now. Excited to get this over and done with. Get back to Mallorca and just dial in towards the goal.
Back to Mallorca. I want to ask you about Mallorca, but before then, we've got to talk about the egg. No, the egg. No one saw it come in. I think egg is such a punnable. It's such a punnable thing, and also it's such a childish thing. It was excellent, wasn't it? It was brilliant. How's Conor done since? Have you even discussed it? Can you discuss it with him? Is he level-headed and calm enough to discuss it?
He is. You know what? He's taking it really well. Like the whole press conference, obviously Conor spoke very well. It was interesting the way Eubank spoke as well, and obviously how his stance was with Eddie. But yeah, look, for me personally, that's uncalled for. I don't like stuff like that. But as you know, I'm always kind of in the background, like, what is that all about? But look,
Did you get any egg? Did it hit
no,
you?
I
Didn't catch enough?
No, I was again hiding away in the corner. But look, it's made it an even bigger fight now,
Yeah,
right? If it wasn't big enough already. So I think I saw today the guys were saying 200,000 people have gone on pre-sale to try and get a ticket.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
has that helped? Probably. You know, was it big anyway?
No,
yes.
of course,
but
yeah. It's an incredible bit of, well, PR, because it's
Yeah,
entertainment, isn't it?
exactly.
We're fully engaged now. People who are not even boxing fans, not even sports fans, they've seen it, they've heard it, they
involved.
want to get involved. Yeah.
And to your question, Conor's fine. Like he's taking it really well. You think he'd be just, you know, and he was like that for a while, but
Yeah.
listen, the goal is here on April the 26th. You know, you can't let that get to you. It can rile you absolutely in the short term, but we know what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, what's his temperament like in a day-to-day situation? Because he comes across so intense, but, you know, I know as a fighter that they want that from you, that, you know, when you get interviewed, the questions that are asked, and essentially what you think people want to hear is you want to be pumped for a fight, and Conor does it almost better than anyone else. But what's he like when he's away from that? Can he climb down from that tension? Or
No, he's got no chill, so no, joking. He's intense. And funny enough, when I got back in with him, he said, Dan, just to pre-warn you, I'm even more intense than before. But there's being intense, and as you know, George, you've got to be super dialed in towards your goal. You've got to not listen to the naysayers, not listen to the noise. And if you're not intense and single-minded, what are you really doing? Are you really going to be great? So I think you've got to be like that. It does take a certain person to understand you and be like, oh, blimey, okay. And just, yeah, he... he's a top guy. He's a top guy outside of all of that. So I'm not saying that's just for the camera. He is very much like that. He cares about marginal gains. He wants to know the why, which is great for me because, as you know, I'll chew your ear off and tell you why. But no, he's a top lad.
Yeah. So, what is your role in this setup now, Dan? Because you're like one of the most accomplished strength conditioning coaches there is out there, but we know now in boxing there's so many other strings to a bow, so many other marginal gains, we should say, you can get. What's your role now? You still just strength conditioning?
Yeah, I think me and Conor spoke about this, and getting back in with him there is more to it than the sets and reps on a program. Anyone can write a good program, but I like to think what I bring is all things high performance. I embody it myself, as you know, and just about did a half marathon the other day in Dubai, and I try and lead from the front, even as age is now not on my side. But no, joking aside, look, I do focus on the mindset, I do focus on the psychology, I do focus on the strength and conditioning, of course, being the main one, but also working as part of a team with one sole goal, and that is the athlete. So I'll do anything. If I need to carry bags, if I need to give water, I don't really care, because as long as it deburdens the athlete in any way, shape or form. So I'll liaise with Tony Sims, the head coach. We've got Pedro Neymar involved as well. This is number 2. And I've just brought Glenn in, I've sourced in-house as the chef, so I'll build the nutrition plan, work with the chef on a daily basis, and just make sure everything is taken care of. So yeah, that's really the focus now.
Does this feel like a big fight for Conor Benn? Obviously, we know it is, but he seems like the sort of character who is built for these occasions, and to headline a stadium, to be in a massive grudge match when you don't even think these guys have sparred each other. Do you know what I mean? They've only... There's some born enemies or born rivals, whatever the tagline is. It's something that stems back from their parents. But Conor revels in this. He comes across like a true high-end celebrity, should we say. He leans into that lifestyle. Do you think he's built for headline a stadium, or is there any nerves in the build up to this? I
think there'll always be nerves, and you don't know until you've done it. And Conor hasn't done it in this moment. He's walked out at Leeds, but it certainly wasn't this against Granados, whoever it was. I do believe he's built for this. I also believe he's born for this, with what Nigel achieved. And Nigel is just an incredible individual. So, a story on Nigel. Nigel did the 24-hour flight from Oz, landed the other day on Saturday at 6:15 in the morning. Someone picked him up from the airport. I think he got back to the house at 7:30. I had a session with Conor at 9 a.m. Didn't sleep on the plane. Nigel came into the gym and he's just such a high performance individual. And I think, going back to built, born, that's embodied into Conor. And we don't know until he's done it, but I truly believe Conor is made for this moment, and he's got to take his chance in this moment. And listen, we know it's a big ask. He's stepping up from 147. But we've got a really good team. We've done all of our testing, all of our physiological profiling, and his VO2 max, George, is like a triathlete. So that's the size of the engine, his cardiovascular system. His power is better than it's ever been. His strength markers are better than they've ever been. So, from physical qualities, they really are there. Now it's a matter of, as you know, fuel for the work required, ensuring he's actually fueling enough, because the expenditure is going to be high, certainly as sparring volumes increase, he goes from 10, 12 rounds and so on, then we've just got to be really mindful he's getting enough calories on board to ensure that he maintains weight and makes the 160 limit safely and effectively.
Yeah. What's going to be the toughest thing for Conor Benn?
In the fight or in the build-up?
The build-up then the fight.
I think handling the moment, which again he's mentally prepared for. Con is so dialed in, like every marginal gain, every detail, every aspect of high performance he's thinking about, from what he reads, conversations he had, what does he listen to, who he leans on, like his father and others around him. So I think that's important. The preparation is super important in handling the moment first and foremost. And then when you're in the ring, look, again, it's a tall order. You've been in the ring with his opponent. But look, he's walking around now, he's 168, 169 now. So again, it's not like, if you said to me we got a 12-week camp and he's got to make 147, I'd say, okay, we're in for a bit of a challenge to get him back down to 147. So I've seen him in sparring. He's explosive, he's ferocious, he has no fear. His boxing, as you know, technically has improved. That area better than me over the last 5 years, incredibly, under the work of Tony Sims. So I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. I think everyone's certainly excited for it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me as a neutral to pick a winner, to be honest. And you know what I mean? When the fight was first made all them years ago, I thought it's a bit of a mismatch because of the size. And then as it's got closer, when the fight looked like it was coming back, I was like, Conor Benn, how can you write him off now? because of the way that he just his aura. But then when you actually it arrives and you're like, oh yeah, it's this. It's a stadium, so it's going to be just as much mental as physical.
Agreed.
So I look forward to it. Dan, thanks for your time, mate. And you, so you're staying out in Dubai for a few months. Back off to Mallorca to finish camp.
Mallorca, which I'm excited for. Let's get all this stuff done, all the media stuff, which I know is a necessary box to tick, but just excited to dial in. You know
what sort of boxes? It's not an egg box, is it? You haven't got any eggs on you today.
How have you waited till the end of that? I thought that was coming in earlier.
With like, oven gloves, frying pan? Is he going to hit with a frying pan today?
No, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
There's got to be something. I mean, is that what it's been the last 2 days? Is it like, fuck, we got to top the egg?
What is the comeback?
We got to top the egg, or we got to anticipate what's next. If it's an egg, is it? I don't know. Flour.
Yeah.
What
I think, look, if anything happens from our end, we plan into his hands. We play into his tune. Listen, Cons again dialed in. We've got our own focus, and let's see what happens today. Can't guarantee nothing will happen, but anyway.
Yeah. What's been your favourite egg-based pun since the last 2 days?
Oh god.
What's the nickname that Conor's going to have now for the rest of his days between you guys in your friendship group that he's never going to escape?
I don't know on the egg
He's
side.
getting his phone out. He's
No. There was someone, I think Conor shared it with Nigel, so there's a guy on socials, I'll try and send it to you after. Honestly, he summed it up so well. You said earlier about Conor having no chill. He's like, Conor's default is just that.
Yeah.
You know, that's his default mechanism. And I think he said some funny stuff on there about the eggs, but I don't know. Listen, I'll rise above that, right? I'm just here to do high performance. I couldn't care about all this. This is pretty cool, actually, looking out. But I just want to get back to Mallorca, dial in, and get in best prepared for April the 26th. It's going to be an excellent fight. There you go. Have that.
You've been excellent, Dan. Thank you very much, mate. Yes, perfect. Look what I found. Look who it is.
How you doing, mate?
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Josh James is here. I don't know. I keep putting this same shot out, and I feel like a football commentator. I don't know anything about football.
He's a nice backdrop, though. You're right up to be. That is the best backdrop that you could ask for,
Thank
rather than in there. So
I appreciate that.
I make you right.
Very much. So obviously, big boxing fan.
Mm-hmm.
Are you here as a boxing fan then?
I'm here as a boxing fan. Yeah. I'm probably going to be. Well, fingers crossed, doing a couple of things for like promotion for the fight. Brilliant. So that'd be great. And they just said, "Do you want to come along and see the press conference?" And after I watched the one in Manchester, I was like, "Yeah, I'll have a bit of that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's going to be great." So yeah, I got down here.
You, as obviously a comedian, like that's comedy gold, yeah.
Yeah.
But is it like? Is eggs too punnable? Like, did you manage to? How long would you spend sitting there thinking, right, I need to come up with a unique joke, or would you just go, actually, it's fucking impossible?
Yeah, it's been.
By the time you got to the comments, you're like, fuck, has got it, and it's got 5,000 likes.
Listen, everyone's already beaten you to any egg puns that you could be making about this fight. Do you know what I mean, or about what's happened? So. Yeah, I've got to be surprised. I'm surprised that Eubank went there. But then again, I'm not. That's what he's all about, isn't he?
Yeah.
Really. And I mean, you fought him, didn't you? And he's a good fighter, isn't he? But I don't know if it still remains to be seen whether actually he's on the level that like guys like yourself got to, you know. But one thing Eubank is brilliant at, he's fantastic at selling a fight, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like there's not really many people better than him.
No, he's been blessed with the name, and so he's had a massive head start. And obviously, stuff that he does will go a lot further. Yeah. I remember him talking about filleting steaks, and he was going to fillet Liam Smith. And I remember thinking, it's not the best line, but it went everywhere because it was Eubank, you know.
Listen, it's no Rubik's Cube, is it?
Mate, yeah, thank you very much. But this hit on so many levels. Like I spoke with Dec earlier, because it's so childish, isn't it, to get egged? And you're like, but it has context and it's aggressive.
Yeah.
And at this point, for someone like anyone who remembers Chris Eubank Jr., like in his early pro years, you wouldn't meet anyone more intense than that guy. Like that guy was so intense. Like, and talking about living and breathing it, like used to book him for sparring, and he'd come to the gym, wouldn't say hello, wouldn't smile, nothing, just walk in,
he was locked
straight in the mirror, Vass on, warmed up, get your job done, out the door. I think he's been top now in terms of intensity by his new rival, Conor Benn.
Yeah.
What do you make of Conor Benn and his attitude and
I
just the way he is?
I've got to be honest. I don't really feel like I've got a, with Eubank Ben, I haven't got either one. I think I want you to win. I want you to win. I quite, either or. I'm just quite looking forward to watching this mutual. You know what I mean? With Conor, I think he plays. I think there's a what's the word? He's got a persona, isn't he?
Yep.
He's got a fight persona, which very much has helped him. Which I think comes out when he fights and that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if maybe the real Conor is necessarily that intense,
Right.
But I would say, from my point of view, I don't know the guy, but he looks almost like he's playing a persona, like he's got when he's in fight mode, this character not character, but the persona comes out.
Yeah.
Of like he's gonna render you unconscious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but listen, I'm here for it. I quite enjoy it, I do think that the build up is it could potentially be better than maybe even a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, how many times do we see that where the build up eclipses the fight? But I think you're right in that the build up will be incredible, will be special.
Yeah.
We're here ahead of them coming together for the press conference. If you was Conor Benn, how would you prepare for this instance?
For this press conference, I found it interesting actually. The first press conference, Ben was a lot more subdued, wasn't he? Bit more easygoing. I think maybe in his mind he's thinking, I want to get a few more people on side. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he played just easygoing. He's got his dad there. Everyone loves his dad. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Nigel, Evan, and I think when they originally fought, the dads, of course, I think Nigel was always the more for the everyman. I think Nigel was more popular, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Than Eubank Senior. And I think during that press conference, that maybe was his approach, was being like, listen, let me just rein it in a bit and try and get a few more people on side. I mean, after what happened the other day with the egg,
Well, that's exactly how they were.
I don't know what's going to happen today,
When that fight was first made, all them years ago, Conor Benn was like the golden child of British boxing at the time. He was massively popular, and Eubank has had sort of spells of being really popular and not, but there were so many people who just tuned in to see him get
Eubank
beat.
was always very much a panto villain,
Yeah.
largely throughout his career. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? For whatever reason, whether they maybe thought, he's living off his dad's name, or
Yep.
whatever they didn't like, he's a very sort of arrogant fighter, and with Conor, but also with Conor before this whole scandal broke, I think there was a lot of eyes on him.
Yep.
But I also do think there was a lot of hardcore sort of boxing fans, weren't there, that were actually questioning whether he'd fought anyone yet, or they wanted to see him come up against a proper test.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. I think. I think inevitably, Eubank's just probably going to be a bit too big for him. Don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. When the fight was first made with him years ago, I thought exactly that. Eubank's too big for him. And then when it got mooted about lately, I thought, actually, Eubank's been beat since. He's come back from that loss, but maybe he's a bit older now, a bit more long in the tooth, a bit tighter the weight, and Conor Benn might get him. But now, since Egggate,
True.
I'm thinking it's not even a physical fight. It's a mental fight. It's an emotional fight. And it's who deals with it best.
And you don't need... This one thing I was thinking, actually, and as I talk to you now, I'm changing my mind. I'm thinking, maybe actually Conor could do it, because, listen, how much more motivation do you need to train hard than what happened with the egg?
He don't want to take another beating, does he?
Oh, mate, I mean, listen, I'm not a fighter, but I'd imagine if someone does me with an egg round a boat race, I'm going to think, I'm going to beat this guy. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, well, he's got to own it, surely.
Yeah.
Do you think he's calmed down since? Do you think he's going to come in seething?
Yeah, I reckon he probably would have got over that quite quickly, Conor Benn.
I think it's a golden opportunity for some comedy, right? At this point, if you're Conor Benn, if you were Conor Benn, what would you? I'm putting you on the spot here, but if you've had 2 days to think about it, maybe come to the next press conference. How are you going to play it?
Don't know, come out in a chicken suit or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like just be like, because the thing is, right, when you take the power out of something, say like, Conor Benn's become a meme because he had his egg round his face, and I was saying about the eggs or whatever. If you own that,
Yeah.
If he then just owns that, and just like, I'm the Eggman. You know what I mean? That's my name. I'm not the Dark Destroyer no more. I'm not the Destroyer. I'm the Eggman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he just fully owns it,
Exactly.
then you know what I mean. He's bulletproof, then, isn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe
Is it
that's
like
what he needs to do.
a heckle?
Yeah,
Have you had a
yeah.
heckle and you're like, that's how I own the heckle?
Well, it's more just like if I go, you know, a lot of the jokes when I start up with my set, they're about me being a bit of a helmet. Do you know what I mean? Having a small Corey. You know, you take the power out of those things that people can get you with. so then it's, you know, it's like, oh, I can laugh at myself. It's, you know what I mean? There's no, you got nothing on me because I can take the piss out of myself. Those things that you're going to aim at me to laugh at me for, I can laugh about them as well. So that's all good. You know what I mean?
Brilliant. Do you know who's going to win? Do you want to pick a winner?
I originally said Eubank, didn't I? But I'm not going to pick a winner because I'm not an expert, and I'll leave that to you lads, the boys that really know what they're talking about. You know.
We don't know what we're talking about.
Well,
Josh, thanks so much for the chat.
Cheers, mate.
This
Thanks
was
for having
brilliant.
me.
Yeah, wicked, mate. Catch you in the next one.
Mate, that interview with Eddie Hearn there, he said 2 minutes, yeah, 2 minutes. His car's there, like revving in the background. He couldn't stop once you.
He was
unpicked.
charged. He's charged, didn't he?
You picked at it like a little scab, and he just couldn't help himself.
I
was fucking great, mate.
I was yawning. I'm shattered.
Yes.
Like,
You're like, I
know.
thought we were doing 2 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah?
2 minutes. My battery's
But
going to die.
It's mad though. He must have done, I don't know how many interviews he's done this week, but 100 interviews, and then you still managed to get some new stuff out of him. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And by the way, we're in the hallway and people are leaving and stuff, and
We might get
Eubank
someone else here this
You
morning.
never know, but that's all you got. It's proper journalism. George Grove's journalism school. This one, in the car park, waiting.
Yeah,
It's like he has to leave this way.
Yeah.
What do you think of the presser then?
I love the presser. I thought the presser was great.
That was a
I've
bit
got to be
you.
honest, I am bloody bored at 99.9% of pressers. So bored. But that one didn't need anything, did it? It was brilliant. I mean, it was orchestrated pretty much entirely by Eubank Jr. But he was good. He came prepared. A couple of things didn't land, and Eddie clawed it back at the end, but he had Eddie on the ropes. And then what do you take from it, Dave? Because I'm like, Conor Benn didn't talk much.
Yeah.
You know, the Conor Benn team didn't talk that much, but Eddie had plenty to say.
That felt like that classic. It felt like the classic thing where the promoter, or football managers do it. Take the heat off the talent.
Yep.
They do the speaking.
Yep. That's what I tried to get into with Hearn, didn't I?
Conor Benn didn't really say much, and by the end he's like, I don't even want to talk about it. There's Ade. He said to Ade, come in.
Yep.
He said to you there, Ade, you didn't like that, did you? Where he's like, do you know what, Ade? I'm fucking bored of this. I don't want to say anything. It's like you're like, come on, man.
So like, oh, is that Conor?
Yeah.
When Conor was like, come on, we're trying to sell this, Conor. Like,
you haven't even
I
said
need a
anything
bit
yet.
more. I was like, yeah, you haven't done anything.
You are, mate.
Like it was Eddie versus Chris. I'm like, Conor, you got a bit of energy left, Con.
You're right, yeah, you're good.
Take your turn. I thought, Conor, you got energy left. But it's when Chris said to him, when Chris said to Nigel, if that hand hits me again, I was like, I'll take the hand or something like that.
got him.
I was like, oh my God, this could go. I was like, this could go. Because I find them boring. And
pressers?
I find them awful.
You're the one in the fucking middle.
I find them so boring. I'm like, I don't like doing them unless, first of all, I think press should be able to ask questions.
Yeah, it's like the anti-press conference, isn't it? No
Makes no
press asked anything. The only person asked a question there was you and Derek Chisora.
That's it, yeah. And Derek's one took about a year to come. I was like, okay, Derek, get there. But that was fun. I enjoyed it. Those two are good with each other. They're good. It's like, he did it with Froch and Groves. It's very similar, right? They're just chalk and cheese, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
Who won the press conference here?
Oh, mate. 10-7 the first one, Eubank. Yeah. And this one was a 10-8 Eubank. It's like Eubank versus all of them, and he still wins.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really help him. Ben doesn't really help him. Obviously,
I thought he was good today.
No, the slow clap was painful. And then he still went, we don't need a clap. And then you could see he died inside. It's like, oh. Like, you might not be able to see it, but his eyes just
Also, Ronnie
vacant.
Davis, right? Ronnie Davis he's had the same expression for 25 years. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't
He
even
is
asking
the
him a
most
question.
stoic. It's just
I was
brilliant.
like, should I ask him? He's on stage. He doesn't look like he wants to say anything, but I thought I was going to ask him out of respect for being on there. But Chris is so good at it. Yeah. It's the way in which he speaks so slowly, and he's thinking about what he's going to say. And not many people can kind of tie Eddie, and he just ties him up and just throws him away.
George was the last one.
Do you think, yeah? No, but Eddie,
George,
yeah, Chris came prepared today.
Yeah.
You know, he knew what he was going to say. He knew how he was going to say it. You could tell he's said these words out loud once or twice before.
Dude, I saw his phone. I don't know if you guys, could you not? He had his phone behind his desk.
Who?
And Chris?
Yeah.
I don't know
Some
if he was
bullet
bored,
points.
or I think it could have been. I think, because I thought, is he that disinterested? But I think he had a couple of bullet points ready to go, because all of a sudden it was like, okay, I know what I'm going to say now. And he kept on doing that, didn't he? Like, no, I want to say this.
Yeah,
and I
the
was like,
50
okay.
grand thing and stuff.
That came from nowhere.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, is he reminded himself
Yeah.
what to say? So maybe he isn't as good as we think. Maybe.
No, but he took. Oh, it's a bit noisy.
That's all right.
They'll hear us.
Yeah, we're in the heart, we're in the bowels here. Well, Ade,
Guys,
did a great job as always,
thank
mate.
you
Yeah,
very
brilliant.
much.
Wicked, mate.
Cheers.
Nice
Have a
one.
good one.
Take care
Good
of
to see you, mate.
yourself. Take care.
It's all going on. Who's next?
There you go. Right, yeah.
Yeah, George Groves Boxing Club.
Yeah, we
Keep
ain't
me out of
paying
it. Nah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
fuck that, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I think
I
I'm
mean-
pretty much. I mean, is there any more to say, Deck?
No, I think those 2 double press conferences. It's a shame we weren't in Manchester, but you know, it's a long way to
We
go.
would have got
innit?
covered in egg.
Yeah.
Dry cleaning
Yeah,
bill would
fuck
have cost
that
a
shit.
fortune.
Yeah.
Saw Chris, came a little knuckles.
Yeah.
We got Dan Lawrence before he goes back
Oh,
to
yeah.
Mallorca.
Who else you get?
We had Josh James,
Oh, yeah.
comedian extraordinaire. So if we didn't get
He
Eddie
was at the
Hearn,
live
we had
show
the
as
next
well.
thing. Yeah,
Legend.
is that the live show?
Yeah.
Don't miss anything.
No.
Josh, he was good.
Yeah.
And it's
that Eddie Hearn one, though, that will live forever. That's great work, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
That'll keep the pod going for another week at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a Ring magazine
Yeah,
production.
it is.
And you are.
Very much
What's
so.
your job title again?
UK lead writer.
UK lead writer.
Yeah.
I need to
I
get
think
that.
they're going to put it on here, but there's not space.
UKLW.
Yeah, LW, yeah. UK, get it on there. Put it on a
UKLW.
t-shirt.
Is it Ring?
No, so do you buy it? Last thing before we go. Apparently there was 130,000 people in the waiting room for tickets, just on the pre-sale, and just Tottenham members or something. First of all, I mean, there ain't 130,000 Tottenham members, are
If
there?
it was Swindon, then
Yeah,
I'd say
no problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But would you,
yeah.
is that promoter talk? Is this so that with that in mind, that makes this the biggest fight in British boxing history? Those
yeah,
numbers,
yeah.
but it
No,
ain't,
let's
though, but
see,
is
let's
it?
see what it is, because ultimately
They can say what
there
they
are
want at
certain
presser
fights
as well.
that will sell out instantly and sell out and sell out and sell out and sell out time again.
Yeah.
I feel like, who knows, before me and Froch 2 at Wembley Stadium, even the first fight was banged out in instance. You know, me and Eubank was banged out, and obviously there's been a bunch of Joshua fights
they're
since.
massive.
But I don't think there's been this demand, even with like the Tyson Fury homecomings.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like people weren't quite as.
Yeah, there's a clamour.
But I mean, people are going to be buying tickets because they want to stick them on StubHub for treble the price,
Yeah,
and people
true.
will pay that.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's a huge fight. It can only get bigger and better. These two guys, let's just see more
Yeah.
of them together, and yeah, I like the. He went through the eggs raising machine, didn't he?
Yeah, the X-ray machine. Yeah, I
coined that, if anyone else-
Very good. The X-ray. I actually got a message on Instagram from your fine wife who said, "If that can't scan for eggs, it's totally pointless." It's true. That was a metal scanner. I'm afraid that wouldn't pick up an egg. So yeah, she's got it right. She's one step ahead of the game.
Was that what she was worried about?
Yeah, she was like,
See,
"I'm
I'm
right.
going,
There might be an
fucking-
egg in
that's
there."
absolute. I knew he was lying.
So Ade says Eubank's won both presses. You've probably got to kind of agree with that, but it doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter until we
Well,
get
it doesn't matter until fight night, you know.
Also, fight week
I
is
think
gonna
I had.
be-
I think I was about 11-0 by the time I boxed Froch, and he beat me twice.
Yeah, true.
First time dodgy, second time, you know.
Yeah.
But
Second time dodgy as well. If you ask
yeah,
me.
lucky.
Yeah, quick count that one. Anyway, we're marching on. It's Paddy Donovan this week against Lewis Crocker.
Yep.
And then we've got March the 7th, 2 double-header show. You're involved in one of them.
Yeah, man.
So next time, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week,
See you,
Derek.
mate. Give me that. No, give me that one. See you, mate.